What's going on, guys? So, important question of the day. Should you buy a 2026 Honda Passport? Is it worth the money? Is there a better vehicle out there? These are great questions, and we're going to go over that. We're going to review this car and throw some comparisons up so you see how does this car stack up against other makes and models out in the world. So, let's hop in. All right, guys, so let's start by talking about what's underneath the hood of this thing. So I'm gonna pull you on in here. So you are looking at a 3.5 liter V6 engine. So while we're at the front of this vehicle and we're talking about the engine, I wanna do a comparison. So I want you to understand, how does the 285 horsepower in this vehicle stack up to other makes and models out there in the world? So I'm gonna throw something up on the screen. While that's up, I'll just remind you, if you went back a year or even 2 years to previous modeled Passports, it's gonna have the exact same engine, same transmission. So no big changes here. So I wanna talk to you about MPGs, but I wanted to stop to take a second to show you a good view of this 18-inch beefy looking wheel. This vehicle, depending on the trim you pick, is either going to get 18 and 23, which is what this specific trim is. Now, if you were in the RTL, your base model, you'd be getting 19 and 25. So just something to keep in mind, depending on the trim level, it may affect the MPGs by a mile or two per gallon. But while we're here, I want to throw something up on the screen so you can see how do the MPGs in this specific vehicle stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. So before we get too deep into this video, I want to go over some basics so you understand the basic layout and trim levels of the Passport. So there's like 7 trim levels in this vehicle, which is a lot different from other lineups that you may see. So you've got RTL, RTL Towing, RTL Blackout, TrailSport, TrailSport Blackout, TrailSport Elite, and TrailSport Elite Blackout. 7 different trims ranging anywhere from 46.2 all the way up to 55.1. Let's talk about front row leg space. In the front of this vehicle, you've got 41.1 inches of leg space in the vehicle. It's actually pretty useful, man. When I hop up here and I'm sitting here, I have got plenty of room. And I'm at roughly 6 foot, and I'm about 250 pounds, so I can give myself quite a bit of room to work inside of this vehicle. As far as width goes, you got a pretty good amount of width. So if you're a bigger guy, bigger gal, you should have plenty of space, even though you've got somewhat of a wide center console. I don't have any issues with spreading my legs. Now, while we're in the front of the vehicle, I do want to point out your interior. So it comes with the orange stitched interior, and you've got a perforated full leather setup here. Understand, depending on the trim level that you pick, it is going to affect the materials that you see inside of the vehicle. Now, while the Passport starts at a higher price point than the Honda Pilot does, I like that they didn't skimp out on some things. One, on this side, every single trim lever, doesn't matter which one you have, all have a 4-way powered seat, right? So it's not like I got to climb trim levels to get to this and use that manual seat if I don't. And then on the driver's side, you've got a 10-way powered seat, every single trim level. I want to talk to you about ground clearance. So this car offers 8.3 inches of ground clearance on the vehicle. Pretty decent. Good for a mile crawler. Not exactly what I'd want if I was going extreme off-roading like you might see in some of the advertisements, but it is a good amount of ground clearance for a vehicle. So I want to throw a comparison up so you can check that out and see how it stacks up to other makes and models out in the world. When I looked, it looked like it was anywhere from roughly about 8 inches up to about 9 and some change, depending on what vehicle you're searching out there in the market. So this lands within the average. All right, guys, so let's talk about second row leg space. In the second row of this vehicle, you've got 40.9 inches of leg space, very usable space. If I got the seat all the way back, I still, as a 6-footer, have got plenty of room, and I'm a bigger dude, so I do all right in the back of this vehicle. I want to throw something up on the screen so you can see how does this car stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I want to point out a couple of amenities that you'll find in the back of the vehicle. Of course, you have AC controls. You do have heated seats if you're in the top end model. You can see I've got some USB-Cs down here and a power outlet along with air vents. And then, of course, I do have the black leather with the orange stitching, and then my center console flip down along with 3 seats in the back of the vehicle. All right, so for a second, I want to go over probably what I'd argue is one of the most important things when I sold vehicles, and that's understanding if I'm in the TrailSport Elite, which is what we're sitting in, which starts at roughly $53,900, and I know that there's a trim above it, and I know that there's a trim below it, is this the right vehicle for me, right? Should I be in this one? So what I want to do, If you were in the TrailSport Elite, this vehicle, and you're thinking, maybe I want to jump up to the very top dog. I want the blacked out Elite, all the bells, all the whistles. One, how much extra money is that going to cost me? But two, what is the list of items that I'm going to gain by spending that extra money? Because I want to say you're going from $53,900 to $55,100. Now, the second comparison I want to do is I'm in the TrailSport Elite. If I'm thinking about dropping down to the TrailSport Blackout, how much money is that going to save me? And then what list of items am I going to give up, right? So I want you to understand, if I want to go up, what do I gain? What do I spend? If I go down, what do I give up? What do I save? All right, guys, if you're looking at mid-size SUVs, chances are cargo space is going to be important. So let's talk about that for a second. Let me pop back out of here. First thing I want to point out is that when you get to the top model, you do, of course, have the sensor set up with the power tailgate. Now, you're going to get power tailgate on all the trims, but you got to climb models if you want to be able to throw your leg under it and have it pop open for you. Not that that's the end of the world. But when we get into cargo space, let's talk about that. First thing I want to point out is, check out these pretty looking floor mats. Come standard with the car, not everybody offers that. Just know that. Now, cargo space, they've done something a little bit different here than in previous years and compared to other vehicles that are out there in the Honda lineup, and I like this. One, you got these big deep cubbies back here, and it looks like they're removable. They have star bolts, so kind of cool back here. You got to flip down here where you can hit this and it'll close the tailgate. Also, I've got a power outlet back here. Depending on the trim level you get, you're gonna get that or not. Now, cargo space, they've done something pretty cool. One, you can flip this to the side and you have some cargo here. So if you've got other belongings back here, it used to be you'd have to pull everything out to be able to flip this guy up. You don't have to do that anymore. So this way, if you wanted to get to this stuff, you absolutely could. I've also seen someone take a full spare and set it in here and kind of tie it down. Kind of a cool option if a full spare is more important to you. While we're back here, I want to talk to you about the dimensions as far as the cargo space. So you've got 44 cubic feet of cargo space in the back of this car with the second row folded up. So I want to stop for a second and throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 44 cubic feet stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. If you flip the second row down, you now have 83.8 cubic feet of cargo space in this vehicle. It's quite a bit, and what I really like is that it's flat. So if you wanted to camp in this car, which is kind of what they're designing and aiming this at, as a more rugged and outdoorsy crowd, this is flat. I could throw an air mattress in here. I could throw a piece of wood on it and kind of extend this out and throw sleeping bags back here. Now, if you wanted to climb back there, could you? I don't know that I would be doing my job unless I climbed in the back of this car and laid here like a crazy person, but I'm doing it for you. But while we're back here, I want to throw a comparison up. You can see, how does the 83.8 cubic feet in the back of this vehicle stack up against other makes and models out in the world? So take a look at that. So let's talk about the steering wheel. I want to talk to you about the controls, the layout, and of course the digital display lives back here, that 10.2 incher. Right, so on here, let's first look at the left side. On the left side, I can scroll through and just go through my basic audio settings, right? All the different things that I can hop into. And then I have my voice command that I can use for, like, I want to say Alexa, Google, and just the general Honda setup. Or if you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, this will play a role well. I've got my volume controls right here. I can jump between different tracks and things here. And then I've got paddle shifters on the back of this bad boy. I've got a full digital on this side. So this is where you're gonna find like navigation if you have this set up, driver attention monitor, all-wheel drive torque distribution. Kind of cool just to see if you wanna know how all-wheel drive works. You can kind of start to learn pitch and roll. If you're trying to camp and you wanna make sure you're parked level, this can be important. Seatbelts, this is just seatbelt reminder that started landing in Honda's the last couple years. It'll show if you got little ones are in the back, I wanna make sure they have seatbelts on. Not only is it a TBS system now, but it tells you the tire pressure in all the tires. Safety support, this is gonna be related to all the Honda sensing stuff. So I'll explain some of that here right now. On here, first thing, you've got lane keep assist. If I press this button, you'll see the same image come up on here. And what that's doing is using a camera to detect the lines on the road. So if I veer to the left or the right, it can keep me centered. Additionally, I've got adaptive cruise control, and that's tied to a different feature called collision mitigation braking. Let's start there. Collision mitigation braking. I'm driving down the road. If it's looking like I'm going to rear another car, I can get an audible alert, and then the car can actually apply the brakes to help prevent the accident. Been around for a while now, but that ties into my cruise control. Now I have adaptive cruise control. When I'm going down the road, I can hit this guy right after I set my speed, which I would do right here. And when you see that, you'll see that pop up, and then I can hit this guy. What this will do is determine a certain amount of spacing I keep between me and the car in front of me. So that's these intervals that you're seeing. So the more boxes, the more space it'll keep between me and the car in front of me. So that car in front of me keeps dropping down to 50, back to 70, down to 50. It'll keep that space and slow me down, so I don't have to keep turning this on and off. I feel like these features live in a lot of cars now, but it's been around in Honda for quite a while. Now, a few other Honda sensing features that are gonna be living on this side, right in that menu I was just looking at. First is road departure mitigation. If it's looking like I'm gonna drive off the side of the road where you normally hear those bumps, what this can do is give me an audible alert and shake the wheel and be like, hey, wake up, pay attention. The next one is the blind spot information system. I think most of us know what that is. You'll get an indicator in your mirror that somebody's in your blind spot, and it'll give you an audible alert if you start to get over, so you don't hit them. Parking sensors on the front and back of this vehicle. Yes, it does offer them. So if you want the beeps when it's backing up in that proximity, that's exactly what this is. Now, I want to briefly talk to you about the 12.3-inch touchscreen that lives inside this vehicle. I'm not going to go entirely through it because you can check out my tips and tricks videos where I explain more about this. If you haven't seen it, it's in the description of the video. Feel free to check it out. But from the home button here, obviously I have Google Maps. I can connect up my phone. I offer Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly, so you can take advantage of that. Alexa and Google, you have both of those options. FM, the Play Store. Play Store is limited. Don't get too excited. You can only download a few different apps, right? So vehicle settings, this is where we're going to be able to change all kinds of different stuff in the vehicle. One cool thing that I showed in my tips and tricks video, I'll give you a little teaser. I understand you can change the color of this. See, if you want to make it match the color of the exterior of your car, just kind of cool. But there's plenty of things that you can do in here related to changing things like when the doors unlock, how they unlock, walk-away auto lock features. There's a ton of things that I explain in the tips and tricks videos that works out of the screen quite a bit. Profile settings, kind of cool with key fob 1 and key fob 2. Always know that on the back of the key, it'll say number 1 or number 2. And you can check that stuff right here. Bluetooth audio, I want to say you can connect up to it's like 6 or 8 different vehicles. System update is done over Wi-Fi, so understand that. USB, you can plug one in. You got 2 USB-Cs up front. Wi-Fi hotspot comes with 3 months, so I want to say AT&T, and then after that, it's up to you. Continue. I want to say it's roughly around $10. I'll do a little research and make sure it hasn't changed. Clock and wallpaper, you got some here if you just want a general background like that. Honda Link. Honda Link offers a lot of different things now. It started off as just a basic function. Everybody gets one basic function, and what that is that in the event of an accident, if you have a phone connected to Bluetooth and you turn the setting on, it can automatically call you. If you don't answer, it can call 911 and let them know your make, model, color, last location, that your car's down, right? The airbags have deployed, so potentially if you were knocked out. That's free. But on HondaLink.com, you can go to their website. They've got different subscription services depending on the type of car you pick and the trim level. Kind of cool, know that you can start your car from your phone, control door locks, all kinds of different stuff. That is a brief rundown of the touchscreen. It's clean, it works easy. I can jump into stuff. I think you can see how everything moves through. Now, for those of you out there, they're a little bit more involved in tech or want a little bit more out of their touchscreen, the idea of unlocking it or doing something like this may appeal to you. So this is not a tip or trick that I do directly with Honda. This is a piece that you can add onto the vehicle that allows you to take advantage of things like YouTube TV, or maybe I want to use the full version of apps, right? I want to be able to type in searches instead of having to use voice command to run searches. Or maybe I want to be able to take advantage of things like Netflix and hop into shows, right? And be able to watch a show that I like. I have found this to be extremely helpful from taking a long road trip. We can listen to a show, listen to a comedy series. And also, I just like being able to get into apps, specifically Spotify. And I like being able to look into an artist and see everything, right? Give me their most popular songs, the songs that I've liked, the discography, like everything that exists, not the watered down, cut up version that lives in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I find that I like what this tool does. If for no other reason, sometimes it's nice if there's a game being played that I can pull up YouTube TV, or if you're into golf or wherever the thing is, I can pull it up and I can watch it, right? Whether I'm sitting waiting for somebody to pick them up, or maybe I'm driving and I just want to listen in to what's going on. This box right here is plugged into the USB. And what this box is it's made by a company called CarLink Kit. This specific box is the CPC 200T box. You can see it moves pretty smoothly. It's got a nice layout. It's easy to use. So if you're interested in something like this, I will throw a link and my coupon code to save you a couple bucks down in the description. So feel free to check that out. I find that this one's a good price point and it works really well. All right, guys, so I'd like to ask you for a couple favors before we get out of here. One, I hope you press the like button because you like the way I'm presenting the content and it'll push it up that search, just doing me a favor. Two, I hope you'll leave a comment. If you feel like I missed something, you have a question about something, or you just want to leave some positive reinforcement, I would love to receive it. Lay it on me. 3, I hope you subscribe to the channel so when I produce content like this, you'll receive it. And then 4, share the video, man. You have some friends that are shopping for a Passport or shopping for midsize SUVs. I hope you'll share this video with them so they can check out the Passport and how it stacks against other makes and models out there in the world. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things.